Good to see you. Glad you joined us for another edition of WWE KRDN Talk. This edition, we're going to look at the WWE pay-per-view TLC. Alongside of me is Cody The Great.
Hello everyone, how are you?
Alright, we just look like a bunch of noobs because we introduced everyone instead of just you who's watching this. But that's okay. We're going to go through and discuss every single match that we know of at the pay-per-view. And the expert here will talk about what he would do as an expert. Why is he an expert? Because he's the great, Cody the Great. It's in his name.
That's
Listen
right.
to him.
That's right, I'm the expert.
Okay. First up is Big Show versus Sheamus in a chairs match. First of all, let me say this. I think this match is going to be pretty sweet, watching two guys just slam each other with chairs and bust each other's heads open. Well, they won't bust each other in the head because WWE doesn't allow chair shots to the head. Otherwise, they'll get a big old fine. Anyway, what I think is going to happen, what they'll do, I am guessing Big Show is going to win this and retain the title, and maybe Dolph Ziggler will cash in his Money in the Bank there if he still has it after the John Cena match. More on that next. Cody the Great, what would you do if you were the booker in this case?
Actually, I would do the exact thing what you just said. I would have Big Show stay out on top. Just make this a brutal match with, it's a chairs match, which means just use the chairs in creative ways. Just beat the tar out of each other. And like I said, we'll talk about that with Dolph Ziggler. If he has the Money in the Bank briefcase after this, I would do that and have him cash it in on Big Show. But exactly that's exactly the way it should be booked. That's how I would do it. Hopefully that's how it pans out.
All right. Let's talk Antonio Cesaro versus R-Truth for the U.S. title. Is this for the Yes, it is for the U.S. title.
It is, yes.
R-Truth is getting up there in age, so I'm going to go with Antonio Cesaro because he's kind of a new guy. They're trying to give the push. As the booker, Cody the Great, what would you do?
I also would book to just keep the title on Antonio Cesaro. He's an up-and-coming guy. R-Truth is this is just a filler match. I mean, really, it's to push Antonio Cesaro. I personally think Antonio Cesaro needs to change his character a bit, needs to get more serious. He's not really a jokester, but he just doesn't he's not connecting with the fans. He needs to, I don't know what he needs, but he needs something, I'd say more serious with him, but that's just my opinion, so.
All right. Kofi Kingston versus Wade Barrett for the IC title. Now, with this one, let me say I like Kofi Kingston. I like the direction he's going. I think he's ready for main event pretty soon. But I also think Wade Barrett is ready for main event pretty soon. So this one is tough for me to call. I'm going to go with Wade Barrett, though, because he's kind of been on the bottom. And so I'm going to go that they are going to let Wade Barrett win, and they're going to start pushing Wade Barrett to the top because Kofi has been there for a while, so they're going to keep him at mid-card. As the booker, what would you do? I
also would book it that way. It's kind of funny we keep having the same ideas here. I'm biased, though. I like Wade Barrett a lot more than Kofi Kingston, but that's just, he's one of my favorite young up-and-coming wrestlers. But yeah, I would have him win cleanly, make it a, pretty long match, maybe, 15, 20 minutes, but have Wade Barrett come out on top. I think as big of a star as Kofi Kingston is, I think Wade Barrett's got a little bit more potential. He just seems to connect with the fans a little better. So I could believe him more as a champion. This would be a good stepping stone. So I would just book it that way and have it. Are they WWE going to do it? What I think is going to happen is Kofi's going to retain, but I could be wrong. It's WWE.
So I'm the expert, and as you know, every time I give my predictions, most of them are wrong. So I think, though, the booker is probably a better way to go. Maybe I'm just leaning on what the booker thinks. I don't know. But let's go to John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler. And this is a ladder match. And on top of this is going to be the briefcase for the Money in the Bank. What this means is anybody can cash this in, well, anybody who has it, can cash it in anytime they want for a shot at the title. Dolph Ziggler's had this for about, what, 4 months?
About 4 months.
He's had it for 4 months and has not cashed it in yet. Many thought he was going to cash it in at Survivor Series on the Big Show and at Hell in a Cell on the Big Show, but he never has. So I'm going to go I'm trying to think what WWE would do. Usually they always have John Cena win. I'm getting sick and tired of that, and I think other people are. I think they know John Cena is getting up there in age, and they're going to try to push Dolph Ziggler. So I'm going to go with Ziggler for the win, and then Ziggler to catch it in on Big Show and get the World Heavyweight Championship. What would you do if you were the booker?
If I were the booker, I would definitely have Dolph Ziggler win this. I mean, Cena does not need the title. He's what? Is he 11 or 12-time champion? I've lost count, but he does not need the title anymore. This definitely helps elevate Dolph Ziggler, having Cena and him just going at it. This storyline, it's poor man's Days of Our Lives. I mean, I still don't know. Did AJ and him sleep together? What? They hint at it, but anyway, we got this little love triangle thing going on, so it's what it's worth. It's drawing in the female viewers. They seem to like this stuff, so... but yeah, I would book it that way. I really think that's what WWE's going to do. They're going to have Dolph Ziggler retain it. I just don't see... If Cena does get in the title picture, let's say at WrestleMania somehow, I think he'll maybe go in the not the Money in the Bank, but the Royal Rumble and maybe win that. But that's for a different episode. So that's how I would book it. And hopefully that's what WWE does too, is just have Ziggler win.
All right. Now, on to our main event. Team Hell No! No, no, no! And Kane! And Feed Me More! Right back!
Against
versus
The Shield.
The Shield. In a TLC match. And this will be the first ever TLC match to be won by pinfall or submission. First off, let me say this. Who I think they're going to have win this is Ryback, because Ryback's been on a losing streak, and I think they're going to try to keep him going up. Also, I think Diddy is kind of surprised because Ryback's more popular than they thought he would be, and so they kind of don't know what to do with him. So I think they kind of like the fact that they can let him win and they don't have to give him the belt. So that's what I think is going to win. Also, you know, if the Shield won, I think it would help them establish them as a faction, but I don't know that they are this time. I think they're going to keep rolling because Kane and Daniel Bryan and Team Hell No and Ryback, they're both up-and-coming faces, and I just think that's how it's going to go, and I think it'll be a really good main event match. But you as the booker, what would you do in this situation for TLC?
In this situation, I also do the exact same thing. Ryback has lost 2 pay-per-views in a row now. And, you know, the fans love him. A lot of people love him. I love him, too. He's great. Yeah, he's kind of a Goldberg clone, but so what? It's entertaining. You know, a lot of the fans that are so young, they don't even know who Goldberg is. They're like, Goldberg, what? Who is that? Oh, is that Ryback's first name? I mean, they have no idea. But anyway, yeah, I would book it to have Team Hell No and Ryback destroy the Shield. First of all, I wouldn't even have Team Hell No in this match. I would just have Ryback take them on by himself. There's no need for those two to be in it. They should be defending the titles against the primetime somebody, some tag team. But anyway, that's what I would have them do. But I'm sure Ryback and Team Hell No is going to destroy the Shield. Now, the Shield by far is one of the most interesting things in the last month that's happened to this company. In fact, SmackDown was a dreadful show. The only cool thing about it was Shield did this little promo, kind of like the Dark Knight with the Joker doing the little camera and talking into it and shaking it. That was really great. It's very original. But, yeah, I'm definitely going for Ryback and Team Hell No in this match.
Good. Now, one other thing I will say, I know you're the booker, but if I were the booker in this case, I think what I would have done is I would not have made this the main event. I think it's going to be a good match, but I think I would have made the Sheamus and Big Show match the main event simply because whenever there's a World Heavyweight title, I'm just kind of old school enough to think that the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship should be the main event. Even at WrestleMania when it was The Rock and Cena, I thought that should not have been the main event. I thought the main event should have been CM Punk and Jericho. Now people can argue, well, they were a main event. Well, they were a main event attraction, but they weren't the last match on the card.
Exactly.
Now, the Cena and Rock match was better than I thought it would be. So going forward now to this match, I think the TLC match will be pretty good, but I think you're kind of losing credibility when you don't put your biggest title on the line in the main event. One other thing I would do if I was the... Well, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I agree entirely. I think even though the world title is not the main attraction, for this pay-per-view it is, because CM Punk is hurt, as many of you know. He'll be back for Royal Rumble, it sounds like. But so they didn't strip him the title, which is good, so he gets to keep the belt. But yeah, the world title should be the main picture. Okay, like for instance, Rock versus Cena, WrestleMania 28. Yeah, that was the main attraction, but okay, WrestleMania 18, Rock versus Hogan. That match didn't go on last. And, you know, they had, what, Triple H and I think Chris Jericho went on last because it was the world title.
Right.
10 years later, all of a sudden it doesn't matter? No big deal, huh? But that's just my 2 cents on this whole thing.
Okay. And then the other thing I would do with CM Punk, because he's out, I think I would have him call the Ryback and Shield match on commentary. Maybe even have him get involved some way where it won't injure his knee more. But I think because he's the WWE Championship, he's supposed to be the head of the company carrying the ball. I think they should have him involved in some way in this main event. Otherwise, I don't know. I just don't... I think it's going to hurt his credibility and where he's at. So I think maybe commentary, CM Punk's commentated before. I think that would be very interesting to see that again. Any thoughts on that?
I think that'd be great just to have him do something.
Yeah.
You know, as long as he can walk around and everything, might as well. Yeah, you know, get involved a little bit, or they even could do the special guest referee type thing if they wanted, but
right.
They probably aren't going to do anything. You probably won't even see him at the pay-per-view, so...
All right, well, there is your pay-per-view TLC. It looks like it's going to be a good one. Stay tuned this Sunday to check it out. And that's all I have for now. Do you have any last thoughts to leave us with?
No, everybody enjoy the show.
All right, thank you for tuning in. We're the experts, and you aren't. Stay tuned next time if you're cool enough. All right, have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye. Goodbye.